The moment you realize that a simple pocket quarter could secretly be worth hundreds, even thousands, everything changes. Because hidden in the everyday flow of spare change are coins that collectors chase, coins that tell stories of American history, and coins that quietly carry rare errors and overlooked value. Today, we dive deep into three seemingly ordinary Washington quarters from 1978, 1988, and 1998, and uncover how condition, mint marks, and rare imperfections can transform them into prized numismatic treasures. 1978 George Washington quarter dollar coin, D mint mark. The year is 1978, and America is deep into the modern clad coinage era. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, has already transitioned away from silver more than a decade earlier. By this time, the coin is composed of a copper core layered with a copper-nickel alloy, giving it that familiar silvery appearance without intrinsic precious metal value. The 1978 D Washington quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, represents a period of mass production. With a mintage exceeding 800 million coins, it was never intended to be rare. These coins flooded circulation, moving through hands, cash registers, and pockets across the United States. And because of this overwhelming production, most surviving examples today exist in heavily circulated, worn condition. But here is where the story begins to shift. Even though the 1978 D quarter is common, condition is everything in numismatics. A coin graded in fine condition shows moderate wear, with major details still visible but softened. In this grade, the coin typically holds little more than face value. However, when collectors encounter higher-grade specimens, especially those with minimal contact marks and strong luster, the value can increase significantly. The design itself remains one of the most iconic in American coinage. On the obverse, George Washington's left-facing portrait dominates the field, designed by John Flanagan. His profile is dignified, timeless, and instantly recognizable. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" frame the portrait, while the date 1978 sits just below. Flip the coin, and the reverse reveals a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of both war and peace. This design, used until 1998, represents a classic era of U.S. coinage before the introduction of the 50-state quarters program. But what truly excites collectors about the 1978 D quarter are its errors. Mint errors are where ordinary coins become extraordinary. One of the most sought-after errors for this year is the off-center strike. When the coin blank is not properly aligned during minting, part of the design is missing. Depending on how off-center the strike is, values can range from modest premiums to several $100s. For example, a 1978 off-center quarter with significant displacement can reach over $250 at auction. Another fascinating error is the wrong planchet strike. Imagine a quarter accidentally struck on a dime or even a penny planchet. These dramatic mismatches result in unusual sizes, weights, and incomplete designs. Some of these rare pieces have sold for up to $600, making them highly desirable among collectors. Then there is the fill D mint mark error. This occurs when grease or debris clogs the die, causing the mint mark to appear distorted or completely filled. While subtle, this error can significantly increase value, with some examples selling between $30 and $200 depending on condition. Lamination errors also appear in this series, where layers of metal peel away from the surface due to improper bonding. These coins often display dramatic textures and colors, and can fetch between $20 and $100 or more depending on severity. What makes the 1978 D quarter particularly interesting is that its value is not rooted in rarity of mintage, but in rarity of preservation and error. High-grade examples are surprisingly scarce because these coins were heavily used in circulation. Finding one in near-perfect condition is like discovering a time capsule from the late 1970s. Collector interest in this coin continues to grow, especially among those building complete Washington quarter sets. While it may not be a key date, it represents a critical piece of the clad era, bridging the gap between silver coinage and modern commemorative designs. In today's market, a typical 1978 D quarter in fine condition remains at face value. But exceptional uncirculated examples can reach into the tens or even hundreds of dollars. Error coins, however, are where the real excitement lies, turning a simple quarter into a collector's prize. 1988 George Washington $quarter coin, D mint mark. Fast forward a decade to 1988, and the Washington quarter continues its journey through American commerce. At first glance, the 1988 D quarter appears no different from its predecessors. Same design, same composition, same purpose. But beneath the surface lies a fascinating story of quality control issues, rare high-grade scarcity, and valuable mint errors. The total mintage for 1988 Washington quarters exceeded 1.16 billion coins across all mints. This staggering number would suggest abundance, and it does. Most 1988 D quarters found today are worth only their face value of 25 cents, especially in circulated grades like fine. However, the late 1980s were notorious for inconsistent minting quality. Coins from this era often exhibit weak strikes, dull luster, and numerous contact marks. As a result, truly high-grade examples are surprisingly rare. This phenomenon creates what collectors call condition rarity. While billions were produced, very few survived in pristine condition. In fact, top-tier examples graded MS 67 or higher can command prices ranging from hundreds to thousands of dollars, with some reaching up to $4,250. The design remains unchanged, maintaining the classic Washington portrait and eagle reverse. But for collectors, the thrill lies not in the design, but in the hunt for perfection and imperfection. Mint errors once again play a crucial role. One of the most well-known errors for the 1988 series is the filled mint mark. In some cases, the D or P appears partially or completely filled due to grease in the die. This subtle variation can add significant value, especially when combined with high-grade condition. Another major error is the missing clad layer. This occurs when the outer nickel layer fails to bond to the copper core, leaving one side of the coin with a distinct copper appearance. These coins are not only visually striking but also underweight, making them easy to identify. Values for such errors can range from $50 to several $100s. Off-center strikes are also present in the 1988 D series. Even a modest 10% off-center example can sell for around $50, depending on condition. Doubled die errors, though less common, can be found in inscriptions like "In God We Trust," where the lettering appears doubled due to misalignment during die creation. These coins are highly collectible and can command strong premiums. Partial collar errors and cap die errors add even more intrigue. These unusual minting mistakes create distorted edges or blurred designs, making each coin unique. What truly defines the 1988 D quarter is the contrast between its massive production and the scarcity of high-quality survivors. It is a coin that teaches collectors an important lesson. Rarity is not always about how many were made, but how many remain in exceptional condition. For collectors, this coin offers an accessible entry point into error collecting. With careful searching, it is still possible to find valuable varieties in circulation or old collections. In fine condition, the 1988 D quarter remains at face value. But in the world of numismatics, it holds hidden potential, waiting for the trained eye to uncover its secrets. 1998 George Washington $quarter coin, P mint mark. Now we arrive at 1998, the final year of the classic Washington quarter design before the revolutionary 50-state quarters program transformed American coinage forever. The 1998 P Washington quarter, minted in Philadelphia, represents the end of an era. For over 6 decades, the same design had remained largely unchanged, becoming one of the most recognizable coins in the world. By 1998, production numbers remained high, and these coins were widely circulated. In fine condition, they are still commonly found today and typically hold only face value. But this coin carries historical significance beyond its monetary worth. It marks the closing chapter of the original Washington quarter series, a design that had endured through World War II, the Cold War, and into the modern age. The obverse still features Washington's portrait, while the reverse continues to display the heraldic eagle. But this would be the last time this classic reverse would appear on circulating quarters. In 1999, everything changed. The introduction of the state quarters program brought new designs, new themes, and renewed public interest in coin collecting. Suddenly, quarters were no longer just currency. They were miniature works of art representing each state. And because of this transition, the 1998 P quarter has gained subtle collector interest as the final pre-statehood issue. But beyond its historical role, the 1998 P quarter also offers opportunities for discovery. Errors and high-grade examples once again define its value. Although most circulated coins are worth face value, uncirculated specimens with strong luster and minimal marks can command modest premiums. But it is the errors that truly excite collectors. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks can all be found in this series. While not as widely documented as earlier years, these errors still carry value depending on their severity and condition. Another factor influencing value is collector psychology. Coins that mark the end of an era often gain attention over time. As collectors look back on the Washington Quarter series, the 1998 P stands as its final chapter, a coin that represents both an ending and a beginning. In the years since its release, interest in pre-1999 quarters has grown, particularly among those seeking complete date and mint sets. While the 1998 P may not yet command high prices, its historical importance ensures that it will always hold a place in numismatic collections. In fine condition, it remains a humble 25-cent coin. But in higher grades, or with unique errors, it can become something much more, a collectible piece of American history. And that is the true beauty of coin collecting. Because sometimes, the most ordinary coins carry the most extraordinary stories. If you enjoyed discovering hidden coin treasures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a rare coin story again. Share your finds in the comments. You might be the next collector with a hidden fortune. See you in the next treasure hunt on Coins Numismatic Series.